Hello. Okay, I'm making a part two to my approach to the Just Nine It challenge because I thought of something else that was cool because I was literally cleaning up my workflow to post it and I did upload it, but then I thought of something else really cool. So let me just walk you through it really quickly. Just one other thing I did was in my prompt, um, I added a quick note for it to return me the explanation on the contract in a structured format. It's taken a while to open this. Okay. And so yeah, I told it to just reply me back with a contract ID column explanation. For some reason, the second I did this, it's finding a lot more suspicious contracts. It's found about four before, but when I added this, it's like double the amount. And I'll just show you the response from the AI. So it has the contract explanation. I could parse this out actually, and I did it in a bit. I'll show you how I did that. But so it's considering a lot more to be weird. And like for instance, this one is unusually high for the product type. I did actually also add here that it should do its analysis by the product type. But if I hadn't had that statement, to return it to me in the structure contract ID column explanation, it still gave me four, even though I was asking for it to do it by the product type. That was weird. But it finds a lot of things here and actually compare them to the mean. Some of them are off, but it's not really massively off. Let's just do something very quickly, okay? I am totally nerding out right now, but let us just tell it here to use use inter use an interquartile range of plus minus, I spelled that wrong, I think it's going to figure it out, 1.5 to determine outliers. I don't think this last statement is relevant, so let me just delete that. And let's see what happens. KNIME, please, can you add autocorrect to this thing because it tells me there's an error, but it doesn't give me an option to correct it. Interquartile, okay, it's fine. I think it's gonna get it. Hopefully you get it as well. Okay, let's run this now. Let's see what happens. While that runs, let me just show you down here because I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, it's already done. Okay, so let's look at the result. Now it's telling me that this is an outlier. 001 is an outlier. Okay, right. So it's not doing this for the product. Actually, it might be. But I know this is not an outlier, and we're gonna see why in a second. Okay, let's just move on. So the next strategy I did was these documents are very simple. So I asked the LLM to extract the information from the documents. Here is the prompt. So I told it I've provided it the contract, extract the contract amount and the product, and reply back to me in a structured format. So the contract column contract amount, column contract product, and use the semicolon delimiter to separate the records. And then here, very quickly, I isolated the AI responses. Then I first split it on the semicolon so that I can have a list of the different rows. So that's pretty much what's done here. And I then ungroup it so I have the different rows. And then I split it on the column so I can split out the different columns. And then I get rid of some stuff here. I rename things into the contract ID, amount, and the product. And I remove the word euros. I then convert it to a number. Okay, from this point, I just did some very quick measurements of central tendencies just to see what averages are like. And then I run it through the numeric outliers. Now, the numeric outlier is set to, of course, consider it at the contract product level. And then it's set to assign an outlier if it's plus or minus 1.5 interquartile range. And with these settings, I only identify two outliers, 19 and 15. These are very, very high. So if we go back one, so 19 and 15. If we go back one, 19 is over 100,000. This is over 200,000. They're both from the private investment segment. If we look at the let's do median. If we look at the median for this segment, it is actually only over 1,000. See, the mean is pretty high because we have those skews, we have those outliers. Okay, so now we go to the box plot, which is the best way to see an outlier. So the box plot is also set to 1.5. I think, is there a setting here? There isn't, but I'm gonna assume it's 1.5. Is it? Usually, usually it is. Okay, anyway, so let us look at this. And in a nutshell, actually, let me unselect the one which is very high so you can see the others. But in a nutshell, everything, so the box is like 50% of our data. This is the max, this is the min, and any dots that is above the whiskers or below is an outlier. Here we don't see any of those. But the second we bring back our friend investment management, let me also like the other so we can see it gets, it's not gonna stretch because these are so big. But see there, we have two dots and the pile of data is so small and we have these massive two dots, so these are outliers, and these are actually those contracts. So we know it's them. So 15 and 19 are outliers according to this method. I am gonna assume it's using 1.5 as well, but I am not sure. But so yeah, this is identified as outliers. Again, we are using here a synergy, an amalgamation, a cooperation between LLM and usual statistics methods, which I think is really good. We've used the LLM to extract the information for us, and then we've used our statistics to actually identify outliers. I think this is probably a solid solution. But of course, it's still nice to probably review what the LLM said. Maybe it's in something. And of course, if we're being real, honestly, contract of these values, I mean, they're very tiny. The LLM did pick these out, by the way, but these ones are actually not plus or minus 1.5 of the interquartile, so they are not picked up by outlier detection, but perhaps they should be. They do look sus to me, so it's still nice to consider what our algorithm said. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm going to be posting this very, very soon. Hope you have a nice night. Goodbye.